wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Hey, Boater.
what kind of bird works at a construction site?
Sustaina. Sustaina works on a construction site.
A crane. And if you didn't like the joke,
Not
I'm
bad.
sorry. My joke writer is on strike in solidarity with WGA. Hi everyone and welcome to Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
I'm Dave Mann.
And actually, I didn't expect the original joke to land slightly better than the save face part of the joke. But whatever, it's fine. Welcome to Nerd Glasses. I hate always starting like this, but we got a lot to go through today. It's fine. I know we've got a ton of stories concerning Activision Blizzard, and of course, tomorrow is the last day of St. Jude Play Live fundraising, so we've got a ton to talk about what happened in the past week and some of what people have planned in this last 24 hours or so. And Dave, actually, I'm going to pass the talking baton to you because I do not have a Twitch ban for today. So that brings us to, I believe, games coming out in the next 7 days.
Yes. So, these games will, of course, be presented in crisp, high-definition 1842 by 10K. Nerd Division! Steve, wiggle your fingers, otherwise the magic doesn't work. Thank you. This first trailer, let's see if Steve and I synced up and did the right trailers. All right! This first game was originally released in 1994, and I can talk about the game, but the reason why it's out recently is actually infinitely more interesting.
Yeah.
The quick brush over. The year is 2072. You are an unnamed security hacker. Ooh, buzzwords in 1994. Mm-hmm. You are committing corporate espionage for someone who wants to basically steal something from a company that they kind of own, but they don't want to be indicted on it. So you have to hinder an AI called Shodan. Sentient, hyper, does not matter because
Shodan.
You disable it, and then you are unconscious for about a year, and you recover. And you wake up, and guess what happens when you give AI no more conscience? That's right, it took over and slaughtered everybody on the ship, and you now have to make your way out. That is System Shock in a nutshell, but infinitely more interesting. The game came out in 1994. The company that originally made it made a couple sequels, had these things, went into insolvency, was sold to an ownership company.
If I may inject
Yes.
really quick, my introduction to... I've always wanted to play the original. I tried to get into it, but the controls were way too 1994 for me. I tried this maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It just didn't work. The reason I wanted to was because I read an amazing fan fiction by Seamus Young called Free Radical. That he takes the premise and then is like, all right, cool, and just kind of logically takes that and it diverts into a different thing. But I always wanted to try what it came from. Unfortunately, the original was too hard to play, but fortunately...
In 2012, Night Dive acquired the rights to remake System Shock and System Shock 2. The titles after that, which Tencent then purchased many years later, are not going to be associated with this title. Just as a heads up and a future look. A couple years later, they announced in 2015 that they're going to remake it. Mm-hmm. They start a Kickstarter in 2016 looking for $900,000. They make $1.35 million, and so they're off to the races. From 2016 to 2017, they start the development. They're looking at it. 2017 rolls around, and they move the development from Unity Engine to the Unreal Engine 4 because, quote, FPSs on this are on the Unity Engine are very bad.
They also started to get into a lot of feature creep, and I saw a fair amount of articles about, like, this isn't what we're looking for.
Yes, that is in 2018. They announced that the title was put on hold because they had a feature creep, as Boater had said, and they had just run into too much reevaluation they needed to do to figure out, is it a remake, is it a remaster, is it a retelling, what are they staying faithful for, what not? Well, you wait a couple of years, you twiddle your thumbs, and suddenly it's May 2020, and a walkthrough alpha, which included commentary from the developers, showing you, here's what we did, here's the decision we made, here's the game. They then in 2021 had an expanded demo. Pandemic happened during these times. Things got delayed, and so they hooked up with Prime Matter Publishing in 2021, which, by the way, if you keep track of it, they had been developing the game since 2017 and did not have a publisher for it that they believed would actually not cut them out of it.
Yeah,
so,
which is fair. I see a lot of stuff with like Kickstarted titles and then they get locked out by publisher. I think we've talked about it here.
yes.
So, yeah.
That all said, all of that work going into bringing a title that is certainly worthy of your attention, but only if you have a gaming PC for now. There is a PS4, a PS5, an Xbox One, a Series X, and a Switch port down the line sometime eventually maybe, but they'll kick that can down the road until they have to step on it.
I did not see the Switch port. I definitely saw the others. I also saw that they're eventually looking at Mac OS and Linux. So
yes, because they raised the 1.35 million, they announced that they were going to be doing a Linux port for those people that the 10 of you who watch this program and still use Linux. Bravo.
But yeah, like it's Steam, GOG, and Epic Game Store all today.
Yes.
For the low, arguably not a game, but maybe a game, price of $39.99. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this because it's a chance to play a classic of the genre. I was reading an article on PC Gamer today talking about like all the stuff that's descended from it, like Gladys from Portal, Shodan, plus a sense of humor.
Yes.
Like all of these tropes in sci-fi that just System Shock started. If you like BioShock, obviously it owes a lot to System Shock. So I'm just really excited to get into this and actually be able to play it on a modern system with at least somewhat modernized controls, something that doesn't make me go, Y is forward Z and backward is J, kind of thing.
And a UI that doesn't make you think, wow, a 90s game, great! I can't read any of this text.
So yeah, I'm really pumped for it. Yeah, that released today.
Check out Anticlaus Prime. He's going to be streaming it because I was in his Discord and I spammed voting for that one because me wanty. And I don't wanty to pay for it, but I do wanty to watch someone competent play it. The second game coming out, it's coming out on the 2nd, so it'll be after St. Jude's Play Live. It is an installment of a fighting franchise that I personally think is the worst fighting game franchise, but don't take my word for it. Play for yourself. That is Street Fighter 6. It is somehow the 7th main entry game in the Street Fighter franchise.
Strong words here.
I would look it up, but again, I don't care about Street Fighter because your controls are bad. But it's coming out on the 2nd for Windows, PlayStation 4 and 5, and the Xbox Series X. They are advertising 3 main modes in this game, which did kind of pull me back in.
All right.
Fighting Ground, which is local online versus training and arcade, and the standard 2D fighting game. There's World Tour, where you make your own Street Fighter, and a campaign based upon that, single-player story, and 3D environments that you fight in for a Street Fighter game.
Okay.
And the Battle Hub, which is your ranked, your casual, your custom matches, and you can use your custom character from World Tour in those things. They are advertising real-time commentary to be added because they have seen the successes of their tournaments and the fact that where the gameplay for me is terrible, the commentary teams that they have are just excellent.
There we go.
Highly recommend if Capcom is putting on a tournament and they're broadcasting on YouTube, Twitch, or whatever platform you're on, I highly recommend checking it out. They are very receptive. They are also very good at the different jobs and tasks that they are given. They are adding different control systems. They have added a new one that uses all the different gimmicks and combos and styled things that they've added over the years, and they've combined them all into one super combo thing that just, for me, sounds like a just awful controller breaking experience. They also have the classic controls, which again, if you're a fan of Street Fighter's controls, first of all, you're wrong. You're just being Stockholm Syndrome into thinking they're good, but that's okay. or a classic hybrid of the new, the old, and maybe something awful. Don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. Steve, you didn't leap the video. It's now just blank screen that we're talking about. Street Fighter 6. It's awful. Moving on. Although it is very fun. And if you happen to see a Kai playing it, seriously, watch a Kai play it. He dominates at fighting games. It's very terrifying. The third game, also coming out on the 2nd, a title worth checking out in my unhumble opinion. Coming out for Switch, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Windows. A game that's already in your library, you and I both know, but it is We Love Katamari Reroll, and they added another R word there, and I wrote it in ink, and it splotched on there. So, Steve, what was the third title that I gave you? It's Reroll and, like, Re-Air or something.
We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie.
Royal Revelry. Pretentious.
Oh, here we go. Reroll Plus.
Pricks.
Oh, no. It didn't even do the full title. It said Reroll Plus, and then what?
King of the Cosmos, pretentious prick. It's a remaster and remake of We Love Katamari and We Love Katamari Reroll. To those of you that don't know what We Love Katamari is, it is a 2005 love letter to the 2004 hit game Katamari Damacy. A game that the developers didn't want to make because they said, we had such a great time with this and this is so good, you can't make a second one of it.
Yeah.
And the company said, but here's a lot of money and also creative control. And they went,
Ooh.
Never you mind, we'll make a second and third one.
That second one had to be what really did it. Here's a lot of money. I don't know. Creative control. Okay.
Yep. That's why the head developer did return, because he was like, I get to decide what's in the game. And the company went, make us money. Don't care how, just make us money.
So you're saying I can do whatever we want? Oh, no. Oh, good, it's money.
So, for those of you that don't know, you are the Prince of the Cosmos. You are rolling up different items on various planitudes and platitudes to amuse your father, who is the King of the Cosmos. The game itself boasts improved quality of life. The Katamari shouldn't get stuck anymore in certain corners on certain maps, but all of them, maybe not. It's also adding HD support up to today's standards. Not 4K, but HD support.
Yeah, it looks super clear and obviously, more than it was at the time, but it also looks like it did a really good job preserving the spirit of the original art style, which isn't something you always see, even in an art style like this. Wind Waker changed a lot when it got remakes and
For sure.
or remasters and upgrades. This one looks really faithful, which is nice.
Very excited for it. As someone who has lived through a lot of remasters of the Katamari games, they are done well, and they are done once again as a love letter to the players who may want to play it on a new console or things like that. Unlike Skyrim, which they do nothing to, and they just want you to pay $60 for another version of the game.
We made this mod official now. That means we didn't put any work into it, but give us another $60. Please.
And that is all the games that are coming out in the next 7 days that are of extreme interest, extreme striking, or got my blood pressure up to no degree like Street Fighter did.
I'm glad that you if you didn't include System Shock, I would have been like, I need to talk. So I'm glad you included that one. That was
oh yeah, that's a title that I've been keeping an eye on since Night Dive first acquired it and talked about remaking it.
Yeah, I had wish listed it a few years ago, forgot about it, and then today I got that lovely little email. An item from your Steam wish list has gone on is now on sale, or not on sale, whatever the wording is. Is now available to purchase.
You gotta love that stuff. It's now available later in the future.
So I'm very happy for that. And of course the others look fantastic. Well, Street Fighter looks fantastic.
It does. It's going to be a fun game if you're a fan of the incorrect fighting game. If you are, if you choose that you really do like Hydrox cookies and Pepsi, then this is for you. This is for you. This is your road to hoe.
What's your fighting game ranking again?
Tekken.
Okay, Tekken way up top.
And then somewhere down there is Mortal Kombat.
And 2D or 3D?
What?
2D or 3D?
Steve, how old am I?
It's a very valid.
It's a valid question, but it's answered by the fact that I'm an old fart, and so 2D.
I was thinking.
That's where you lost me. It's Tekken, then 3D Mortal Kombat, Smash Brothers, 2D Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
I don't even count Smash Bros. As a fighting game. It's kind of a genre all its own.
It is, but it's such a different kind of fighting game that, it'd be hard to... Where does Soul Calibur rank?
Pretty high, actually, like right under Mortal Kombat. Only because in my head it's like, Tekken, and it's crossed over. Mortal Kombat's crossed over with Soul Calibur. Mm-hmm. Soul Calibur, you have swords, you stab people, but they don't die. So I'm like, you lose points on that. But
okay.
Still a really fun franchise.
I think Soul Cal 2 is probably the fighting game I played the most.
Yes, what a good game.
On Xbox.
Don't play it in arcades. Don't. You think you've got it good, and then you meet that little kid who's been playing that exclusively. They're not nice about it.
That's the thing. Like I was kind of like thinking recently of like, I was saying on stream why I mostly play single player games because like I can do multiplayer games when it's people in a room. I tend to be really good, and then I go into the online where there's other people and it's oh no, like the thing you go to the arcade and it's oh no.
Hey, do you have anyone to play with you? Yes. They're
watch. I can play both at once.
Delayed. They're delayed. They have first in line. You just have to wait. You just leave.
Yeah. Hey, is this stick taken? Neither of them are. Bye.
So, Boda, what have you been playing? What have you been eating? What have you been watching? What have you been streaming?
I've been streaming a lot, and we are going to talk about St. Jude fundraising soon. But I've been playing a lot of stuff with that. Had a wonderful stream playing some American Truck Simulator, and someone coming in, talking, asking a lot of questions about the game.
Nice.
Things like that. As far as stuff that I haven't generally been playing a lot recently, but one that I started this past week is playing Diablo 2 Resurrected with Steph.
Nice.
So it's the kind of thing that like I've been meaning to, and finally I was just like, all right, let's do this. And we did Act 1 and Act 2, and now we're looking at the weekend to do Acts 3, 4, and 5 before Diablo 4 comes out next Tuesday. Which I'm not going to play on release, but Steph will. So we need to make sure we're done with D2R before that drops. So we've got a busy weekend ahead of us with that. How about you, Dave?
Amazing. God. What a long week. I've been helping friends move places, so I've moved more furniture in the last 7 days than I have. No, that's not true in my lifetime collectively, but it was like college move-in and move-out day. Oh, not in the last 7 years. I enjoy doing manual labor. And I will tell you this. If you watch this program and you move or you do stuff and you don't call me, I take it personally. I do. I want to help, and I can only do so many things. And one of them is lift my body weight over my head and hold it there for extended periods while you find your car keys. Totally fine. I'll do it. But have been having a lot of fun. How Love Alec got his first wins in Fall Guys. And it was a lot of fun to do. We actually wound up him and I being the finals in a bunch of games. So then him and I traded crowns for a while.
Nice.
And then, oh my God, I'm forgetting everything. So I took a very big gamble this week on stream, and it paid off in one way and didn't pay off in another. The Weekend Wednesday this past week, I know you didn't watch because I looked at the numbers. Nobody watched it. And I had a great time doing my circle time that I do with my students in my classroom. Had a phenomenal time with the 3 people that showed up and actively chatted the entire time.
Nice.
Participated, asked questions, listened to the songs, did the things with me. I left more excited than I have been in a while for games and things like that because chasing meta blows and I'm not doing it anymore. Mm-hmm. So if you come onto the streams, thank you. And if you don't pretend you did because I know you didn't. And it was a lot of fun to do that part of my life on stream and things like that, and to share, have people ask questions about these things and give incredibly vague answers without giving out details, things like that. And then getting streams ready, following through on the schedule, having to talk to my moderation team that just because people vote for a thing to be picked doesn't mean people are going to show up for it. And so henceforth, we're going to be very careful about monitoring that. because
Okay.
like double the people voted to play Fall Guys than Fortnite, and then none of the Fall Guys people showed up. So it was one of those like good, really helpful stuff.
Yeah.
But once again, I met a really cool new community member that played with Love Alec and myself literally for the entire stream.
Awesome.
And so it's been a really hectically busy week, and I've enjoyed it to no end.
It's interesting when, like, sometimes when you stream and you get a ton of people in, a lot of variety in chat, and sometimes when you do a stream, like I mentioned my American Truck Simulator on Sunday evening, it was a stream for basically one guy, it's Frankie Uwu. Thank you very much for dropping by and asking questions about the game and hanging out during the whole stream. That was basically a stream for Frankie.
That's awesome,
and that's
though.
fine too. Like it's nice when streams can kind of like vary. Like that's part of the excitement of like sometimes it's a big group of people you're talking to, and sometimes it's a smaller and more intimate thing. So it's kind of nice streaming at this level because sometimes you get that. Although I'll mention the streaming on Sunday, I did another stream that was started out with 10 to 12, and I had a couple of friends join me for that. And then for every $5 donated to St. Jude, we added 10 minutes to the stream, up to a maximum of 6 p.m., which would be $180, which we hit within the first hour.
That was a lot of fun to watch here in the store. The Mario Kart, the Mario Party game, and then the games that I cannot lie, I do not know what they were, but I kept looking up in the store and going, cool! Like,
yeah, we did Ultimate Chicken Horse right at the start, and then we did, like, Pico Park at the end, which I had played with Travis, and he is still traumatized from what that game did to us 2-player, so he was not very cooperative for 3-player, which was its own brand of interesting, before we switched to Heave Ho, which we had more fun when we realized there was a versus mode. The last game was interesting. Yeah, like when we got to the versus mode, that was very interesting. But yeah, that was a great time. Thank you again to Kyle and Travis for coming by on that stream, and everybody that popped into chat. We had a big variety of people in when we did Ultimate Chicken Horse at the start. We had N stopping by during Mario Party. A bunch of people in chat, and it was a great time. Like, over a long chat like that, you get that whole, like, we got the whole gamut. Sometimes it was an intimate stream with one viewer. Sometimes it was a big community thing with a lot of people watching. It's a really kind of fascinating thing to stop and think about. So, I keep hitting the table. I shouldn't have rolling chairs. I don't have the responsibility for them.
That'll be the first thing to go when I cut the budget.
So while we're on the topic of streaming, do we want to talk a bit about how awesome the team has been?
I would love to.
So we'll start at the top. And
do you have the visuals over on there on that computer? Open up my Google Chrome. Tiltify's on there. And if you could pull up those tabs as well so that we can show off the things on stream as well as talk about them. But what's St. Jude's fundraising overall at?
The St. Jude Play Live for the season had set a goal of $2 million. It is currently at $2,192,823.96. They blew through that, last Thursday, Friday or so?
Friday.
Okay, Friday they ended up hitting the goal. Still going strong. Again, noting that there's 29 hours, because I think it ends at midnight Central Time. So 29 hours to go, so I wonder if we can get up to that $2.25 million. We'll see. Like, the last day tends to be really strong. So that's been really exciting to be a part of. Drilling down from there, we go from Play Live in total. We come down to Caladrius.
Oh god, wrong one. There we go.
Okay. We're good? Okay.
You're sure everything's fine? People aren't in chat going, no microphone.
I hope there's microphone.
Whoop.
Yeah, there's microphone.
Hey, I see what the question was, if everything's fine. All right. Hey, look at that. The latest stretch goal that we had set was $7,500. And sometime during the day today, we crossed it. We are at $7,516 for Caladrius. From our initial goal that we had set at $2,500, and just kept pushing. We pushed to 4,000 from there. I didn't even get the chance to set a goal before we crossed into 6,500 territory. This team, I am losing words to say how excited, how impressed I am, and again, how I mentioned last week on how it really feels like a team. Everyone's talking and coordinating stuff. I don't know if you have anything to add.
It's definitely showing the fact that Caladrius has had a couple of years, myself and Boder, starting, adding Wraith Wolf, adding Ariella Dragonsbane, and then adding so many other wonderful people along the way, of whom we could name, but everyone knows, and we'll go over their totals in a second.
Yep.
But everyone's really crushing it, and it's showing that people are sharing their passions, they're sharing what they like to do, and they're figuring out ways to incentivize their communities to get involved, to be involved, and to make it important, not just to themselves, but to those people out there, and to you guys who donate, to you guys who lurk, who support, who do these things. That's what matters most. Because a dollar raised is a dollar against childhood cancer. However many dollars raised, to be honest, is inconsequential. It's part of the reason that even St. Jude's doesn't blow up people with, they've raised this amount of money. It's this person is streaming in support of St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Right, yeah.
It's not a matter of, they're a $5 million donor. Great. You have the same amount of leeway, rights, and kudos as someone who donates 50 cents.
You have the same
They
amount
appreciate it regardless.
You have the same amount of hours in the day to get to bring in your community, to make them want to help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, everyone. It has been a fantastic year full of so many great streams, so much good content created, and so much fun. There's been so many streams now that don't have... A couple years ago, there was a lot of moments where you'd tune into a stream and you would see...
Yeah.
It's not good content. It's not fun, and you're not going to get people to have fun with it. If you watch any of the members of Team Caladrius, there is barely even 5 seconds between either an action, a choice, a decision, a movement, something going on, and everyone's doing a phenomenal job.
And I'm proud of some of the people on the team that have grown as streamers. Not even like talking about like donation getting or anything like that, but people that kind of were like unsure when they started streaming and joining, and you know, we all start there. We all start in like, what's an appropriate amount of patter? What's an appropriate way to try to talk and engage? And now we're seeing team members that have been here for a few years and who are growing into the ability to stream and to keep a steady flow of conversation going with the text on the screen. It's like, that's really cool to see too. And again, it all goes to like, I've helped people troubleshoot some tech stuff and such, and when people have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But like, everybody's so supportive. Everybody's supporting everyone else to, you know, on this journey, growing as streamers, let alone growing as people who happen to also fundraise for St. Jude. So, Lily's News, thank you for the round of applause for the team. In fact, those of us here in the studio. Steve has brought up, do we want to go individually through this? I know Steve has brought this up for people to see, but otherwise, just this is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
With a lot of these.
I mean,
individuals.
everyone can
Sure.
see it.
Yeah.
But...
This is I believe in no particular order, but you know, we've seen. I hit my initial goal and I'm pushing to a stretch goal. I'm at 1260 right now. 12. That was at 1250. Steve, I know what you did. We'll talk about that later. In a good way, though. In a good way. I'm not mad at Steve. Only for a bit, but you'll see. Anyway, Brew Nerd hitting the 500. I think for the first year, this is awesome. I love, again, someone who I think has had a lot of growth as a streamer on the team. It's really awesome to see. Misty coming back to streaming after some time away. Like, as much as we talk about St. Jude being a kind of thing where people who are watching open their hearts and their wallets to donate, it's something that brings a lot of streamers out of like informal retirement. Like, I haven't streamed in 3 years, but you know, it's play live time now, and dang it, I'm getting back into it. And I think that's like Misty is streaming more constantly because of that. Wraith Wolf is killing it
as usual.
Yeah, she had a really great stream last week, I think, that just absolutely blew it out of the water. I took the top row. I don't know if you want to take the bottom. We've got just Alec at 520. What was his? I don't know what his original goal was.
500.
500. So met that. Sustaina at 121. I think Sustaina got a really early start on a lot of us and has just like really been pushing there as well. Dave, I don't even like. Not about the number, but that's quite a number. And Taco Pill, as we've mentioned before, who is streaming some gameplay, but also some game dev, which is really, really cool to see, and is close to his $100 goal. Yeah, just this. Brunerd, hit 500, time to shave the beard. Here we go.
Yeah, Brunerd, did people vote to save the beard or shave the beard? What's the situation on the beard, my friend? Are we seeing time to shave the beard? Oh no.
Oh man, it's for the kids.
Are you shaving it on stream or are you shaving it off stream? What's the
shave got more votes, and I hope it's on stream, but that would also be like you need to make sure that you have a setup to catch everything and just not be messy around the computer.
Or is it just going to be you're on stream, you walk off frame, we hear
on stream with my barber. Oh, that's going to be
That's
cool.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. Make sure you let us know, let the communities know, because that'll be really cool. And again, at least save the VOD for later. Yeah, so that's where Play Live is right now. That's where Caladrius is right now. Play Live goes until midnight tomorrow Central Time. So there is 28 hours and change until the end of the program. And I know a lot of people are kind of trying to figure out like that last little stream. I've got a stream tomorrow night at 8 that if I can get the people together, I'd love to do golf with your friends.
Nice.
If not, I might just end the season the way I started it with Okami. But just kind of like seeing it to the last hour as much as I can, considering I got to work the next day and I have an old person sleep schedule now, apparently. It should happen Friday. Ah, yeah. That's exciting. Yeah, so again, huge congratulations to Caladrius and to everyone raising money for St. Jude this year. So, Dave, I can't help but notice that the prediction outcome has hit 0, and the chance for people to choose something for us to eat today.
People have chosen the mystery box.
How long is this? Has this particular mystery box item been here a while?
No. Well, there is an item that's been in there for a while, but the item itself was re-added when we had the accidental double bacon programs. While we're plugging people's streams for the end of Play Live, if you don't remember, Weekend Wednesday, every Wednesday since 2018. Seriously, every Wednesday since 2018. Every Wednesday. Come rain, shine, or Spectrum cutting off the internet here in the studio. We'll find a way. We'll find a stream. I'm having the folks who have appeared on previous programs, our 12-hour stream, all those things. Joe and Amy of Geek for All are going to be joining in studio. And as folks may know, Shark Hands are for helping, but are they opening for trading card? Are they for opening trading card packs? We'll find out that answer and so much more on the Weekend Wednesday, starting at 9 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But our snack is a familiar one. It's another flavor of Doritos that they seem to release just in time for Play Live. And that is, of course, hot mustard.
I don't know if you could hear the sigh of defeat coming from the production booth, but it was quite pronounced.
You don't like hot mustard, Steve?
Hot mustard's good. But you still have the ketchup chips in the back, too.
Well, yeah. They're stale, by the way. I'm throwing them away.
Good. They deserve to go stale.
Now, I won't lie. These ones have a problem. They're delicious. I've already had them. I already bought a small bag of them. I was like, oh, I'll have it on a stream. And I was like, oh, I'll try one before stream. And then I had one, and then I had more.
That does kind of smell like spicy brown mustard.
Our weekly boater in frame with bag. Would you like to try one?
No, I'm good.
It smells familiar. I can't place it.
It smells like brown mustard. Oh, no, not bad.
That's a no for me.
They taste like duck sauce to me. No, the spicy mustard that comes with Chinese food. And
Interesting. I would have just thought like spicy brown mustard. No, that.
Let me see the ingredients of that.
Unlike the ketchup ones that just didn't really taste like ketchup at all. No, that's an immediate taste of mustard. I like that. My best friend Kevin loves them, and those sound fantastic, says Lily.
I got a hint of horseradish in that.
Lily, I'll leave
I
them
can
here in the
see that.
studio if you want to try them when you come in Friday for Lily's News every week on Insane Games TV, YouTube. I realize, in all the plugs we've ever done for her, I haven't mentioned that. YouTube, Lily is our first live stream YouTuber for the network.
Okay.
Need stuff to wash us down with. I'll be right back.
Oh boy.
So, going along with
There's a
Play
plus
Live,
one on that.
there was an incentive that I put up because folks have been so incredibly generous, and I'm not quite sure how to reward that. I don't understand why, except that you folks are so wonderful and you support the message of St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I put for $3,500 raised the word PILK in all capitals with an exclamation point. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, if we make $3,500, I will drink PILK on every stream that I do for the next month. And now we are sitting at $3,555 raised. So a pilking we will go, and I revealed this to Steve. Steve and I had discussed it, and then brought the cup out, and Boater knows what usually typically red Solo cups in the studio mean. And Boater put out if I make $10 for St. Jude's, I will also join in on the frivolity of Pilk this week.
And I said, I'll put that out there for people to do so. And Steve said, maybe I'll do it. And I said, you would. And he did.
You have to go get him.
I'm not necessarily going to finish the cup of Pilk.
I only brought 2 because I didn't think he was going to join in. And I'm not going to force him.
But Steve made a $10 donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital through my link. Thank you very much. The links are at the top. If people are interested, you've heard us talking about it, whatever, and you're interested, Pilk Month. Oh.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You can have a sip of mine.
Okay.
So, Steve, what kind of Pilk are you pouring today? Please be careful next to the very expensive microphone.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
That is mango Pepsi, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So, if people are interested in making donations to St. Jude, the pinned message at the top has links for both Dave's campaign and mine. $10, I am having some Pilk. Another 15 into my campaign for call it 25 for the night, I'll finish however much he makes for me. Up to 1 glass. I'm so glad this is now and not tomorrow.
Oh, Brunard, I said every stream that I'm on, I'm going to be having a glass of Pilk. That's a gallon of milk that's going in the fridge. I mean, you know, I don't like how
it is just off camera, but that is in fact a gallon of milk.
I
in his
really,
hands.
Steve, don't like how well you've gotten at pouring Pilk. I really like bartender-like precision.
I was about to say it is bartender-like.
Don't pour Coke on top of the milk.
No, it's layered now.
Masochist.
He's inflicting it on us. That is sadism.
Steve has no dog in this pony show, and yet here he is drinking a cup of his own.
Because he enjoys it.
Why does that... It's mango, that's why.
Yeah, it's the mango. Links are at the top. If you want me to finish the glass that's up to here, I'm going to require another 15, but I'm going to have a few good sips
I
of
think
this as
Dave
it
has
is.
slightly less. Would you mind pouring a little bit of yours in his?
No, it's fine. He has a little less.
For the kids!
For the kids!
Cheers!
Oh, God, I forgot just how much those textures do not. I have drained this about a third. If you want me to chug it like they did, $15 more to my donation link. It's at the top.
Could you get me another water out of the fridge, please?
The way your vocal cords rumbled that sentence out. Could you get me a water out of the fridge, please?
I've been very lucky this in streams for a while now, where it used to be Overwatch Fridays. Then it was ukulele and Overwatch Fridays. This past week I brought in my amplifier, my effects pedals, and I put the battery inside of my ukulele. And we found out that, yes, acoustic instruments can be plugged in amplifiers, and yes, you can make them sound amazing.
Nice.
And it was so much fun.
If I have it tomorrow, do you have regular Pepsi available?
Yes, I do have regular Pepsi available. In fact, we have the optimal Pepsi available, the natural sugar, real sugar Pepsi.
The nitro is the optimal Pepsi. That's the sugar. Cherry's okay. Coke tastes weird. Cherry Coke is even weirder.
Well, of course Coke tastes weird. That's not Pilk. That's
Gilk.
Kilk. So, next week, I know that we got to post it in the Discord, but next week we'll talk to some team members and see if we can get just a nice big kind of all Caladria, as many Caladrius team members as can stop by. We'd love to have you guys, and well, Dave's gonna have some Pilk next week because it's part of the next month, and we'll see what happens.
If you can't stop in, if you're not in the local area, if you're busy and you are a member of Team Caladrius, we would love to have you make a little video about your experience, maybe share some clips, some memories, things like that, and what you're looking forward to.
I'm just allergic to mango. Fair.
Oh, no worries. There will certainly be alternatives.
This might be artificial flavoring.
Also, you're already losing a beard. You don't have to have Pilk, because I have a feeling Lee and Ashley are not going to partake in that, but Joe probably will.
I just reached for that voluntarily, and then I said, what am I doing with my life? Nope. That's going to require more. Okay. Anyway, Dave, now that we've gone through all that, we have a lot concerning Nintendo and Activision Blizzard, not to mention some other stuff to talk about.
Yes, and I would love to throw to Steve with his review of the PlayStation reviews, which cascades a whole bunch of stories that I have so that I don't accidentally talk about one. Because PlayStation had a review, a release window. They talked about a lot of games, and two of which made me literally squeal in joy. Steve, a word in edgewise.
Flamingo.
A good choice of word. The mic's muted. Bob's Burgers have the best joke to steal. Well, the Nano doesn't exist, Steve.
I know it doesn't exist.
You broke the Nano.
We can do this visually. In fact, we don't have to worry about blowing out the mic.
There we go.
Brunerd redeemed Steve. Oh, hold on. Are we getting musical accompaniment for this one?
Myself.
Of course
we're
getting
gonna,
musical
We're
accompaniment
gonna go
for it.
right back to cam view.
Some of those were even the right key.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Back to the view.
Breaking news! Where's my Sonic? Hold on. This is not okay. Where is he? Where is the beautiful boy? This is not great. Is he just under pictures? No. Right now, instead of Sonic, we will have the Team USA Dream Team. Just keep them. Oh no. I lost him. Hold on. There we go. There we go. We'll be poking out of the corner.
Good.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
So, last Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard. No, 4 o'clock. Doesn't matter. It was last Wednesday. PlayStation had their showcase, and it was quite a showcase. A lot of people fell asleep in chat. It was, a lot of JRPGs announced. But I don't care about JRPGs, so I'm not talking about them. We'll start with the big announcement, the big showcase, Spider-Man 2, Dave's favorite.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
The return of the symbiote
Murderer
Spider-Man.
of the murderer!
And he's got the venom tendrils and all that stuff, which is pretty cool.
For murder! Yes, tendrils you use for murdering. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they're for.
Yeah, he does that multiple times in the trailer. But, let's see. A lot of VR2 games announced.
Yep.
RA4 RA4 Remake will be coming to the VR2 exclusively.
Steve's redoubled efforts to beg Dan to get a PlayStation VR 2 the second that trailer finally played.
I haven't tried yet. I haven't seen him since. So.
I mean, honestly, the pickleball court is ideal for a lot of VR stuff.
It has been in the past, and it shall be in the future.
Yeah, once my arms are finally working again, I will definitely.
Cat Quest 2. I forgot what the subtitle was, but it was great. Pirates. Awesome.
Cat Quest 3. Pirates.
What was that?
It's Cat Quest 3 Pirates.
Yeah.
Meow.
Alan Wake 2 got a trailer.
Just gonna say.
Wait. Okay.
We know the one that Dave was excited for.
Oh,
It looks like a Resident Evil game. Like how the
that's a
cameras-
fair assertion. That it looks like games that came before it. Yes, it does.
I thought it was a Resident Evil game when it was showed, but
Ooh.
It's interesting when you start to see a trailer, and it reminds you of one thing, and then just, oh, that's not what I thought at all. I remember that way back in the PS3 showcase, there was, I think, Infamous Second Son, I thought was actually Watch Dogs, or like the other way around.
let's see. Foam Stars.
It took me a second.
It's Foam Stars is just Splatoon. Square Enix is Splatoon, and it's gonna crash and burn like that.
Especially because it's Square Enix doing it, and their ability to support any non-Final Fantasy game more than 2 months after release is 0.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16 was also there, and it actually looked interesting, but I'm not going to talk about that here.
He did blanket no JRPGs. You've never watched Steve have a twinkle in his eye for trailers, and then the second a character with like 10-foot hair walks on, and Steve immediately goes, "I'm out! This is it for me. I don't like it. Their shoes are too big, their hair's too tall, and nobody's honking their noses."
Those zippers are the size of their hand. I'm done.
That's not even practical.
Demon Dragon points out, but it's Final Fantasy. It's made 16 installments. It is one of the longest-running game franchises. Ingredients notwithstanding, because some of them were really bad. But
And finally, the big announcement: Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting a remake. Yes! Oh, there's also a mini announcement of the Metal Gear Solid I forgot what the second M in the title was, but something collection, where you could play Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, the original ones, on modern systems.
Hey,
Nice.
question for you. Did you see Hideo Kojima's name on anything with that?
No. Kojima's name is not on any of that.
Those might not be games I buy. We'll have to see how that shakes out. Because not giving Konami money for something that a team has worked very hard for and then are just going to re-edit and sweep away.
I mean, I can kind of go with it either way. Like, with Konami, it's especially kind of, like, Konami split with Kojima was not great. But they still own the IP, so they can still do that kind of thing. It really does kind of depend on how the IP ended up switching hands, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas with System Shock, for instance, it's, the way that transferred was fine.
Yep, company went out of business, went into insolvency, assets were distributed, and so they don't have any claim to it. Like, whereas Metal Gear Solid, if you look at Death Stranding and you squint just hard enough, all that said,
And that Metal Gear Solid collection does come out this fall for PlayStation 5. I'm assuming other consoles as well. It was PlayStation Showcase. And that's all I care to tell you about the PlayStation Showcase. Back to you guys.
Lily, thank you for the $20 donation to my St. Jude campaign. Air horn.
I have that somewhere here.
Travis hit mine with gusto, and it did the same thing of, like, it sort of broke, so it's a lot quieter now. Thank you. Bottoms up.
For the kids, says Lily News. Exactly. It's for the kids. And it's for you guys because you donate so generously to all of us. You go along with our gimmicks and our hooks and our different things, and we really appreciate
I'm
it.
crying. These are actual tears.
You don't look okay.
Would you?
I don't necessarily feel okay.
Would you like something to wash that down? Some red vines, some Andes mints, a
You know what? An Andes mint might be really
jalapeno
nice.
citrus margarita seltzer.
Less so on that. I'll take an Andes mint, though. That actually
Andes
sounds
mint.
wonderful. Lily, thank you very much for that donation to St. Jude. I am very grateful. My stomach will deal.
We've eaten enough bean boozled beans to be technically marked as genetically modified meats in the future.
Thank you, Dave. So, as long as we're talking about stuff that got announced, it's empty. Can you check it? It's empty. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. I thought you were like making sure your plate's clear before you leave the table.
There's a drop left boner.
Enjoy it. That's for you. So, Steve, if you can actually switch to the other trailer that I sent you.
Yes.
Bungie had an announcement.
Now you can't.
Okay. Making sure we had audio and that the trailer audio isn't drowning us out. This looked really cool. This is Bungie going back to Marathon. Marathon was the FPS that originally came out on Mac that they made their name with before Microsoft bought them as a studio and they developed Halo, which launched the Xbox, which made the Xbox, big enough that it's survived to this point. You could argue that Bungie single-handedly carried Xbox for a couple of years. And then eventually they ended up going to Activision Blizzard, where they did Destiny starting 9 years ago.
And then Activision let them have it.
But now they're going back to Marathon, which was a really cool story-focused single-player first-person shooter. The art style looks amazing, and oh, what's this? It's a multiplayer PvP extraction shooter. When you talk about losing interest in something immediately, this art style looks fantastic. I've always kind of wanted to engage with Marathon, but didn't know how to because I'm not a Mac gamer. I don't really know. Again, when we're talking about like mid-90s games that might feel too 90s to really get into, hey, this would be a really cool way to engage with like Bungie's original, like really cool IP that they built so much stuff at. PvP extraction shooter. Well, I'm sure it'll have cool cinematics, and that's all I'll care about at this point. Like, just the rate at which I and many others lost interest in what could have been a really cool, well-crafted first-person narrative, which is what Bungie has really excelled at. Like, I mean, I enjoy 343's Halos, but, like, Bungie's Halos were great. Don't you know that single-player shooters don't exist anymore? Like, that's the thing I want. That's what I do. I like single player because I don't like the equivalent of there's this sweaty kid at the arcade playing the fighting game showing me that I can't do anything. That's why I don't like multiplayer stuff. I could get this and I could play it and I would get so upset within 3 weeks of just getting the worst like ranked, like not even trying to play ranked, but like the worst, I forget the term for it, but like balanced against whatever teams. Like that's what happened to me with Star Wars Squadrons. We got absolutely trounced, and then the very next game we were paired up against the exact same team. And I haven't played it regularly since. I returned back to it for a little bit at one point, but...
Crashing into those players makes them really mad, by the way. If you don't play the rules that they want, or if you fly into them and the second they start shooting you, you just immediately fall down. They're like, hey! Yeah! Great fun.
Ooh, Dude Icarus has a point there with when we're done with Marathon. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about Marathon. It looks amazing. That art style looks fantastic. I might keep a close eye. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I might get it just to try it. But, like, I wouldn't be comfortable really dropping, like, full game wad of cash on something when it's a multiplayer-only PvP. We'll see is what I'll leave it at. I mean, at least Bungie has a good track record of, constantly updating post-game and seasonal content and stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily worried about, like, that like I am with other publishers putting out games like, oh, this is going to be seasonal content, so you're going to drop it after 6 months, right, Square Enix? Oh, sorry, did I call out someone by name? My bad. So at least Bungie has a track record of sticking with it. But... we'll see.
Multiplayer PvP loot box battle pass extravaganza. Oh, so we're talking about Overwatch 2. Speaking of which,
yes, I'm done talking Marathon. Thank you very much for showing that, Steve.
So another thing announced there that Steve kind of breezed over is if you have a PlayStation VR headset, Dan, if we have a PlayStation VR headset, PlayStation VR 2 headset. They've just added Beat Saber to it. It is now accessible.
Ooh.
And with announcing that it is now on PlayStation VR 2, they have added official tracks for Queen.
Yeah.
Adding all your favorite Queen songs. Not the one that's on the Greatest Hits album Volume 3. The one that are on Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2. So all the ones that you've seen in other movies, all the ones that make all the trailers, and all the ones that everybody at karaoke night thinks that they can sing and actually do a pretty good job with.
All the ones that were on like the first 3 Guitar Hero games?
Yes. If it's one that comes to mind immediately, it is. But if it's a B-side, it's not in there. I'm excited to see.
Beat Saber song pack is like what, 6 to 10 songs? Usually around 6. Yeah.
I'm excited to see visually what they do with the presentation, what color scheme they do for Queen. Is it going to be gold and maroon? Is it going to be something else? And then how the little flourishes around the songs are going to be. It'll be very fun. It'll be very interesting. And we'll be playing it here in the studio on our new PlayStation VR 2 headset.
Do you want the song list?
Sure.
I got the song list. All right. Another One Bites the Dust.
Yep.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Of course.
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
All right.
Makes
Don't
sense.
Stop Me Now.
Awesome.
I Want It All. Killer Queen.
Good.
One Vision. Which is a really good song.
It's a very good song, but that actually might be the exception to what I said.
Yeah, that feels like a bit of a not necessarily a deep cut, but like it's still a cut. Yeah.
Somebody to Love.
Yep.
Stone Cold Crazy.
Yep.
We Are the Champions.
Mhm.
And We Will Rock You.
So, well, only one of those songs really kind of defies, although that one even still gets some radio play and things like that.
You need an exception to prove the rule.
Stone Cold Crazy is the exception.
So that was what
Metallica covered it. It got enough universal, like, when
that ended up
Metallica
being,
plays
what,
it or
around
something.
12? So like that's album length. Usually a Beat Saber song pack is EP length. But that's exciting. And I believe, so as much as it was announced alongside the PSVR 2 thing, I believe that song pack is still available if you own it on another.
Well, yes, it's announcing that it's now,
Yes.
hey, we did all these things. And also for everyone else, here is this.
Oh, I forgot to write this down. As long as we're talking about announcements of stuff, there was a little company called Games Workshop announced a bunch of upcoming things.
Yes, they did.
Most of which, I don't really have much going on with the Warhammer 40k franchise, but my good co-host here does. And one of the things announced was a tie-in with Power Wash Simulator.
That's awesome.
All they did was just here's the logo, and they just did an animation of it scrubbing off whatever. They didn't actually show any of the materials with it because they just announced this is a thing that'll be coming. We know that the next DLC for Power Wash Simulator is actually going to be SpongeBob SquarePants, which has a more thorough trailer on it, whatever. But that game has been doing a really good job of getting other IPs. I've been playing through the couple of the Tomb Raider levels with Rafe Wolf. There's Midgar from Final Fantasy VII. There's a bunch of stuff. Final Fantasy, great franchise, Steve.
No.
But yeah, so I didn't even have anything written down for that. I just realized, I heard about that this week. That is how Dave will get me to engage with Warhammer 40k.
You don't need to. There's lots of people that already engage with it.
Power Wash will be my gateway.
Don't buy the miniatures. Don't do it.
I don't plan on it. I tried to... I got the starter pack for X-Wing miniatures game, and I was like, interesting. I could see how this would be fun if I spent another $200 on it. At least.
What a good game that is.
And then we gave the starter set to someone else. Made it somebody else's problem. Right? Or did it end up just gathering dust at home? So that
I don't remember.
Okay. If we inflicted cruelty on another, we do not remember it, so that's...
I remember we got one of the
fine.
figures for your dad for Christmas or something.
Yeah, but that was more just because it's cool to have the model CR90
Just
Blockade
because
on
the
her.
model looked cool.
I can't afford to play Warhammer. I mean, they talked a lot about...
Nobody can.
They talked a lot about upcoming video games for it, and those are, a lot easier on the wallet. Although, with how many they announced, maybe not.
A diverse IP, and I'm very happy that it's catching on and that they are making games worth playing and not just making shovelware because we're desperate to not have to spend $60 on a miniature instead of buying a game.
Yeah.
Nintendo did something interesting this week, where on May 25th they announced that they were going to patch Tears of a Kingdom. And they said it's patch 1.1.2. Early patches, lots of things, but not a lot needed with that game. It's got a lot of polishes. They did a very good job with it. But they announced that it's got sound and volume issues where things might suddenly become unexpectedly loud or things might be unexpectedly quiet and then become loud again as you adjust. And they also fixed... Camera work in the depths was a quest line that was bugged, and they managed to fix that so that all players can now get through it. They forgot to mention, and did not mention in any of the patch notes, that they also removed multiple item duplication glitches, as Nintendo is wont to do, because you can't have it for free, and you can't have it on us. But it was very funny that they just didn't mention it at all, that they had patched those over, but player base immediately realized when they updated that that's what 1.1.2 also did in tie-in to those other fixes.
Yeah.
Interesting move, Nintendo. Interesting move.
See, and so there was item duplication was the big one, but I think there were some other glitches that were also addressed. And I don't like that because it's a single-player game. This is how it ships. And like it or not, this is part of the experience. And I don't like the idea of them being like... because bugs in games, go back like maybe 20 years, a bug in a game just becomes part of the game. You know, whether... or the legendary one is Gandhi, negative overflow and being super aggressive in Civilization, which is not actually how it worked. There's a sociology and everything behind it, but like that idea of a bug being legendary, and just how a game is played, like the fact that and like speedrunners will use it where you can climb out of a warthog in Halo at the right time and have it shove you through a closing door. That you wouldn't be able to do so otherwise as you slide into it. Just using glitches in the game's code for how you do it. When it's a single-player game, I say go for it. But Nintendo says, oh, I know you're not hurting anyone, but you're hurting my feelings and the feelings of the developer, so we're going to fix it. I don't like that. I don't know if you have a particular opinion on it, or if you're just like, they updated it, it's their prerogative, they can do it.
I don't like that they didn't acknowledge it in their patch notes. It just feels very cloak and daggery. But I like when companies are called on patching bugs and things, because otherwise you have EA's "it's a feature" and things like that. Mm-hmm. And whereas there are a lot of very good glitches and a lot of bugs that are very fun, there's a lot of games you play and you buy that you just think, did you run just a debugger at all the entire time? Did you have a computer within the room running a debugger even near the program? No? Okay.
Yeah, like a multiplayer game with glitches and bugs and exploits and stuff like that, absolutely patch a multiplayer game. So level the playing field and all that. But for a single-player game, bugs and glitches make speedrunners go vroom, says Demon Dragon. I feel like 10 seconds ago, I had another tangent I was going to go on. I lost it. So, moving on. Nintendo did another thing this past week, too. And that was seeing that there was a listing on Steam for the Dolphin emulator. This is a project that has been around for a while that is to emulate Wii and I think GameCube as well. Mm-hmm. Because GameCube was originally under development as Dolphin.
Yes.
So, a GameCube and Wii emulator that has been around for a while, but it's got a listing on Steam to make it more accessible, easier for people to get into. Nintendo, of course, being Nintendo, didn't like this and sent Valve a DMCA takedown. And the developer has said, this is what happened, and we are looking into options. In the past, U.S. courts have held up the right of emulation, but at the same time, there's also been times when legal entities have found other ways to make it really bad. Like, oh no, it's the emulation's fine, but they were also doing this. Oh, well, we can't have that. You owe Nintendo $2 million now. So we'll see what happens. Since they already distribute it on their own website, they might just say, I guess we're not bringing it to Steam. Or there's a slight chance I could see Valve actually assisting with that and working with the developer. I don't know.
I don't think Valve will get involved.
Yeah.
I think Valve will sidestep because when you put titles and things on Steam, there's a lot of agreements and things like that I know we've talked about on the program over the years of Valve being like, well, they said that everything that was on there was A, B, C, and D. We can't get sued about it, but we will take it off the store because it's not following those things, and they'll have their account hand smack and all that stuff in the past for things that aren't theirs.
Dude Icarus noting that Dolphin was up on the Steam storefront for a lot longer than it should have been. It was up for a couple of months, and I think that
favorited it.
I think that's one of the things, it wasn't actually out, it was just up as a coming soon, and I think it was probably to kind of test the waters and see what might happen. Because if you just, I didn't even mean that, to just, throw it out there, whatever, and then if it gets taken down, that leaves some people in the lurch. So I think it might have been that, let's see how this goes.
Speaking of let's see how it goes, a game that we talked about not too long ago was Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh,
and it has gotten maligned left, right, and center. And the studio has released an apology letter and a whole host of patches, but also was recently found out that they received a grant to work on another Lord of the Rings title down the line. Folks that have played it, folks that have watched it, have said that it's not great, but it's still better than those PS2 Lord of the Ring games, and that's kind of what everybody wanted.
Interesting. I've heard the exact opposite, with people saying like it's worse than the PS2 ones. Yeah, from things like the character modeling being awful. It looks like they put a toupee on them. What's going on with the eyes? Whatever. They showed an example of like, here was some pre-release footage of like one of these decision moments, and here it is in the actual game where they're using the default Microsoft Word font Calibri for all the in-game UI. Just astounding, the state that got released in.
And they're getting another one. They've already gotten the grant, which means it's already things, and they may have already moved on to that, developing that one. Who knows? What we do knows are...
Yeah, and it's WB that has the publishing rights?
For the
games?
cinematic associated things,
Yeah.
but not all of Lord of the Rings and its
Okay.
lore and rights and stuff.
Yeah, because, like, some... for instance, like, Disney wouldn't be shy about, like, you don't have the Star Wars license anymore. Like how they took exclusivity away from EA after Battlefront 2. I don't necessarily know that WB is going to be like, wow, this is really poorly received. Let's not let them do another one. I think they're going to be like, well, we already signed the paper, and that'd be too much effort to do something else, so we're just going to let them say that they're going to release it, and then we'll bury it, just like we did with Multiverses.
They can do no worse than Amazon's done with the game that they're going to make and they're going to love, and they're going to make a TV show on it, and then they're not doing any of that. But they're making a TV show and a game that you're going to love, and they're not going to do anything with that. But they're going to make a game and a TV show about Amazon. Make up your mind. I just want to know if I'm getting into the token book or not. It's really it. Games that are coming out in the next 7 days that are important, but will mark into before Nerd Glasses we meet again. If you decide to get yourself an advanced copy of Diablo 4, just know that Blizzard has put out a call. As of June 1st, the first 1,000 players to level up to 100 in hardcore mode, the permadeath mode, for those of you unaware, will get their names immortalized on a statue of Lilith.
Sorry, I can't hear Diablo and any word coming out of the word immortal. So, continue.
I'm really looking forward to seeing who those 1,000 players are that have the time to just grind in a situation where they're going to kill so many of those low-level enemies, it's not even going to be funny. Someone's going to figure that out. They're going to figure out like a keystroke of like, they spawn at this amount, and if I just have it do this and that and the other, and it'll play for them, they'll get to 1,000, and everyone will be like, oh, great. And they were none the closer to danger. I want to do it, don't have the time, but would love to have had the time.
Yeah, like, before the show, you and Demon Dragon were discussing it, and people being like, oh, but reviewers have an early copy and all that, and it's like, reviewers are not going to have the time to get to level 100 on hardcore. It's not how it goes.
And if you think streamers have the focus for permadeath, you haven't watched streamers play things with permadeath.
Some streamers might, but also, like, they're starting on more or less even ground with anybody else who gets the game. So, you can use some streamers to watch and see how they're doing and see how you're doing better than they are.
I know we're long in the tooth and long on time, but I did have one other story that fell into my lap, and it interested me a lot, which is that the name Dolph Lundgren, does that mean anything to you?
Yes.
Do you recognize? What are they known for? What are they big?
Actor.
Yes.
I think like 80s action movie actor.
Yes. They played Ivan Drago in the Rocky franchise. They are also one of the main characters, will they, won't they, kill Sylvester Stallone in the Expendables franchise. They're now getting like an 8th movie. It's ridiculous. But found out he revealed something in an interview, and the article that I read didn't talk about what the whole article was actually about. So firstly, I don't mean to bring everyone down, but Dolph Lundgren's been fighting lung cancer for 8 years. Did not know that. Really sad about it, because that man terrified me as a child. He's 12 feet tall, he's chiseled like a god, and he was fighting for Russia. So boo! Boo, Ivan Drago! Boo! But apparently, during that interview where he was talking about his cancer, his recovery, his work on things like that, they're like, "Oh, are you currently working?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm actually in South Africa working with Netflix on a Witcher spin-off show." Just casually dropped that, and then they kept talking about other things. And it was like, oh, that's a lot of information all in one topic. So firstly and primarily, Dolph, I hope you get really healthy. I hope things continue to do well for you. I hope you continue to fight it. In fact, I do hope you knock out that Rocky in the first round immediately. And then secondly, what a hilarious way to just drop that there's a Witcher like next show coming out. Just a casual just drop. Like
Wow, yeah. I don't even have anything to add. Like, I hadn't heard of that at all. I feel like interest in anything Witcher dropped off the second that Henry Cavill was no longer going to be involved past season 3.
He has multiple master's
yeah.
degrees and potentially a doctorate. What did not give a lot of confidence is he is fighting lung cancer, and in one of the pictures he was smoking a big old cigar. And I was like, come on, give yourself a chance.
No, he had way too much of a chance. He's given the cancer a fighting chance,
That's
so he
true.
can have more fun with the fight.
That's very true.
Please get better soon.
We'll have so much more
Yeah.
news for you guys, and so much more going on. We'll post it in the tabled topics. Look forward to hopefully seeing some of the Team Caladrius members. You should probably communicate to them. You actually get an answer.
I can do so. Yeah, so in Table Topics, make sure you go to Discord, follow that in the Table Topics section under Nerd Glasses. I've got some stuff about the Activision Blizzard merger with Microsoft, just a small little bit there. I think Dave may have had one or two as well, so he'll post at least a photo of that.
Neopets, THQ Nordic, Iron Gate, Microsoft Appeal,
Neopets?
NetherRealm, and the EU explaining why the UK board, in a very long official press conference, why they are a bunch of but in official terms.
That's awesome. So, yeah, check out Table Topics with that, and make sure you come back next week where we're going to try to have a bunch of members of Caladrius on the show, just kind of going over what the last couple days were like, what everyone's favorite moments from the month. We'd love to have it. So, and we'd love for you to be there. So make sure that you are following right here. Make sure you follow us over on YouTube for highlights, full show uploads, and Lily's news on YouTube. We have a ton of stuff coming out there, and make sure that you're following for all of it. We will both be streaming tomorrow evening on our individual Twitch channels for the last day of Play Live, twitch.tv/DM314.
Insane Games TV for the weekend Wednesday.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And on twitch.tv/Boaterbug. And, of course, we will be back next week for the Nerd Glasses podcast right here at Insane Games TV. Until then, I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
That one's been Steve. And we'll see you next time. Bye!